Right, hello and welcome. Yeah, it is recording. Awesome. Let's back it. And welcome to the second video on the solutions to the homework that I've actually been giving you. This video is going to be on compound measure. I've already done standard form, and after that we'll be changing the subject of the formula. So let's get into the questions. A sprinter runs a distance of 200 meters in 25 seconds. Work out the average speed of the sprinter. Sorry. Right. So this is about remembering how to work out the speed. Speed equals distance over time. You can remember the triangle, then you split it into this. You have speed, you have time, you have distance. If you multiply the speed and the time together, you get the distance. If you divide the distance by the speed, you get the time. If you divide the distance by the time, you get the speed. So what have we got? We've got the distance, we've got the time. So we're looking for the speed. Distance divided by time. So 200 meters over 25 seconds. Can we divide further? Yes, they're both divisible by 5. So we can call this 5. We can call this 40. So we now got 40 over 5. Can we divide this further? Yes, it's 8. 40 over 5 is 8. 8 meters per second. That is how we get the answer to the first question. Next question. A rock has a mass of 56 grams and a density of 3.5 grams per centimeters cubed. Work out the volume of the rock. So this is saying that so we've got mass, which is in grams. We've got density, which is in grams per centimeters cubed, and volume, which is going to be in centimeters cubed. To get density, we do grams over centimeters cubed, right? Because that's what it says here, grams over centimeters cubed. Grams is mass, centimeters cubed is volume. And to get grams over centimeters cubed is density. So that's how we find density. Density is mass over volume. You can use the information in each part of the question, like say grams over centimeters cubed. You can use that information to formulate your own equation. So we can make our triangle here. Mass is at the top. So we have mass, we have volume, we have density. We're looking for volume, so we're going to do mass divided by density. Mass is 56, density is 3.5. Now let's manipulate this fraction to make it look a bit nicer. Let's double the top and double the bottom. Now remember, we're multiplying by 2 over 2, which is 1. We're not changing the value of the fraction, we're just changing the numbers to look a bit nicer. 3.5 divided by 2 is 7. 56 times 2, that is 112. So now let's do 112 over 7. 1, 1, 2. How many 7s go to 1? 0. How many 7s go to 11? 1, remainder 4. How many 7s go to 42? 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. That's 6. So let's just write a little 6 there. So our answer, i.e. the volume, is going to be 16 centimeters cubed. And that is the answer to this question. Let's move on. A car travels at a distance of 230 miles in 4 hours and 15 minutes. Work out the average speed of the car in miles per hour. So let's do our triangle again. Distance, speed, time. We're looking for speed, so we want distance over time. So it's 230 over 4 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, so this question is looking to trip you up here. The question thinks you're going to put in 4.15 because 4 hours 15 minutes, 4.15. No, this 15 minutes, that's out of 60 minutes. This is a quarter. As a decimal, this becomes 0.25. So this 15 minutes, that's 4 whole hours, 0.25, plus a quarter of an hour. So when we're doing this, we want 4.25. So this is how we work out our average speed. So again, we're going to manipulate this fraction because this isn't very pretty. This is out of a quarter, which is multiplied by 4. And the top by 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 0.25 times 4 is 1. So our bottom number is going to be 17. 230 times 4. 200 times 4 is 800. 30 times 4 is 100. Yeah, I'm recording. 30 times 4 is 120. So this becomes 920 over 17. 920 over 17. So we want this to one decimal place. So let's go through and do our division. 17 over 920. We can't simplify it. 1735, 70, 85. No, we can't simplify it. So let's just go through. How many 17s go into 92? 17, 34, 51, 68, 85, 102. We have 5. So, because 17 times 5 is 85, times 6, it becomes 102. How many short are we here? We're short 7. So we have 70. How many 17s go into 70? So let's just go back one. 17 times 4. That is going to be the 68. So we have 4. Remainder 2. How many 17s go into 20? 1. Remainder 3. How many 17s go into 30? 1. Remainder 13. And this will go on for forever. We can keep doing that. But we're going to stop here because it says give your answer to one decimal place. 1, we round that down so it doesn't change. Here's our answer. 54.1 miles per hour. And if you do 54.1 multiplied by 4.25, 54.1 times 4 is 216.4. 54.1 times 0.25, that's going to be 54, 27, 13.5, 13.525. So it just comes below what it actually gets. So 529.927. It comes pretty close to 230 miles an hour, which is good, because remember we rounded down, so our answer is going to be lower, so this works out quite well. So that is our answer, 54.1. Because if we did 54.2, that would go above 230, that's not what we want. So let's go to the next question. Danny leaves her house at 8 in the morning, 63 miles to work. She drives at an average speed of 27 miles an hour. What time does Danny get to work? So we are working out time. So we have distance. I've completely botched that pyramid. So distance, no, oh for Pete's sake. Right, let's try that again. Speed, time, distance. So we have distance, 63, we have speed, 27, this gives us our time. So 27 into 63 into 27. So what can this be split into? 63 is divisible by 3, it's the same as 3 times by 21, 27 is the same as 3 times 9, so now we can cross out the 3 and call this 21 over 9. These are also both divisible by 3, 3 and 7, so we now have 7/3. So this says takes 7/3 of an hour. 7/3 of an hour is the same as 2 and 1/3 of an hour. So 2 hours, so we start off at 8, we add 2 hours, because this is hours, this is minutes. We add 2 hours, and we also add 1/3 of an hour. Now if 1/3 of an hour, this third, we want this in minutes. So what's 1/3 of an hour? There are 60 minutes in an hour, we want 1/3 of that, so 1/3 of an hour is 20 minutes. We add 20 to this, 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 2 is 2, 8 plus 2 is 10, so we get 20 past 10. So Danny arrives at work 20 minutes past 10. There is your answer. Boom, kaput, that's it. Next question. Rachel drives 300 miles from London to Newcastle. She drives the first 165 miles at an average speed of 60 miles per hour. From this point, it takes Rachel 3 hours and 15 minutes to complete her journey. What is her average speed for the whole journey? Okay, so this question, I'm pretty sure I did this in class. I don't think I did it for either of you. I think I did it for some other students who were outside. So let's have a look. Rachel drives 300 miles from London to Newcastle. So we have London here, we have Newcastle here, and we know that the entire thing is 300 miles. It's a 300-mile trip because it says so in the question. The first 165 miles, so if we call this point 165 miles, this portion of the trip was completed with an average speed of 60 miles per hour. And this bit, we don't know. Well, we know it takes her 3 hours and 15 minutes. So average speed for the whole journey. So if we look at the whole journey, we just make a box here for whole journey. Whole journey. Sorry, I'm really bad at writing on this. Distance equals, so we want speed. Speed, as we know from my triangle, is distance over time. We have the distance is 300 miles because it says so in the question. But we don't know the time. We don't know how long it takes her to do this whole trip. But we can work it out because we know how long it takes her to do the last 135 miles. It takes her 3 hours 15 minutes. It says so in the question. We want to know how long it takes to do this part of the trip. We add it to this part. We add it to this part of the trip. We add the time it takes to do the first 165 miles. Add it to the last 135 miles. We add them together, and that is the overall time. So we can work this first bit out. So let's look at the first portion of the journey. So speed equals distance over time. The distance is 165. The time, we don't know. The speed is 60. So what we can do, we can just swap this 60 and this t to work out the time. Because we can rearrange this formula to say that speed, so time equals distance over speed. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to do the distance, which is 165, over the speed, which is 60, which gives us our time. 165 over 60. Now let's work it out. These can both be divided into 5. So 60 divided by 5 is 12. 165 divided by 5 is 33. 33, yeah. These can both be divided by 3. So we have 33 divided by 3 is 11. 12 over 3 is 4. So we have 11/4, or for a 2 3/4. Now this is the time. So we're saying it takes 2 3/4 hours to travel the first 165 miles. Takes 2 hours and 3/4 of an hour. We know the second half takes 3 hours 15. 3 1/4 of an hour. Because 15 minutes over 60 is a quarter. So we have 2 3/4 plus 3 hours and 1/4. Let's get the 2 and the 3 by itself, and then the 3/4 and the 1/4 by itself. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3/4 plus 4. 3/4 plus 1/4 is 4/4 is the same as 1. Equals 6. So the time is 6 hours. So we can now go back to this, because we were looking for the average speed for the whole journey, which is the distance for the whole journey divided by the time for the whole journey. The time is 6 hours. So 300 over 6, which is 50. So the average speed for the whole journey is 50 miles an hour. That was a bit of a journey to go through. If you need me to go through that again, I will be perfectly happy to make a separate video just going over this question. Let's go to the next question. 13. Now this one was also quite a difficult question. This one was one of the optionals, I believe. Uh, 100 millilitres of liquid A and 200 millilitres of liquid B are mixed together to make liquid C. Liquid A has a density of 0.7, liquid B has a density of 1.1. Work out the density of liquid C. So, if we go back to question 4, we worked out our equation, our triangle for this. Yeah. So we have mass, which is in G. We have density, which is in G over ml, and we have a volume of liquid, which is milliliters. I can't remember if volume is the right word. It's just it works for this. So we can use this because grams over milliliters gives us density. So grams is mass, milliliters is volume, so mass over volume equals density. That is how we formulate our that's how we formulate our equation. So let's actually look at the information in the question now. So we have 100 milliliters of liquid A, 200 milliliters of liquid B, then mixed together. So we want the density of liquid C. So we want the mass of liquid C divided by the volume of liquid C. We know the volume of liquid C is 100 plus 200 because we mix in 100 milliliters and 200 milliliters, and together you get 300 milliliters. So the volume is 300 milliliters, but the mass we don't know. We have to work out the mass. So let's work out the mass. We work out the mass of volume A. So The mass is, so let's use our equation. Mass is going to be density times volume, because we bring this volume up here and we just get this. So mass equals density times volume. So mass is going to be density. Density of liquid A is 0.7. So let's work out A here, 0.7, multiplied by 100. This gives us 70. So the mass of liquid A is 70 grams. Now we want the mass of liquid B. 1.1 is the density times the volume, which is 200. And this gives us 220. So we worked out the mass of volume A, worked out the mass of volume B. We add them together to find the mass of volume C. So 220 plus 70 is 290. So our mass, which we were looking for here, is 290. We can simplify this by just getting rid of the zeros. Now we have our answer of 29 over 30. We're going to try and express this in terms of decimals, just for the sake of the question. I'm going to assume that this question will let us use a calculator, because working out 29/30ths I don't think is particularly a fair thing to ask you to do. So I'm going to put it in my calculator. 29 over 30 gives you 0.96 recurring, or just 0.97 if you're rounding it up, because 0.96 recurring is 0.9666. This 6 gets rounded up, turning this into a 7. So our density is 0.97 grams per milliliters. And that is the next video. So this is the what was this one called? Compound measures. Yeah, this was the compound measures part of the homework. Those last two questions I totally understand if you don't get. I hope I explained them well enough for you to get, but if not, that's no worries, and I'm perfectly happy to go through it again much slower to make it a bit easier to understand. Anyway, I hope this video helped. Thank you for watching. I'll make the next video, changing the subject of a formula video next, and I'll get back to you soon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.